Aloha gang. It has been a whole week. I really apologize. I mean, seriously, a whole week without a live. Some of you guys know last Tuesday I had dental surgery. I actually had a tooth extracted up in this area and a bone graft. And okay, people used to tell me, okay, I've had an extraction before. And I'm like, oh, that was nothing I can handle. Oh, yeah, bone graft is definitely another level completely. So, but I'm starting to feel better. Taking Tylenol, Motrin, stuff like that. And I'm doing much better, but I wanted to make sure to get to a live today. Now that we got our missing Mondays. Hey, Tim, how you doing, my dear? Thanks for popping in, my dear. And coming back into everything today, I was trying to figure out, okay, there's some new cases out there and all. And I actually came across Maria's case, which is not much stuff out there, gang. Yeah, not much stuff. And it's just kind of starting to build some information out there. Hey, Thea, how you doing, my dear? Tim is just the usual stuff. There you go. And it seems like everyone's been going crazy. By the way, Thea, I just listened to your message and I was just going to send you a message back. And I was like, oh, I'm past time to start my live. I guess I should start it now. So, and but yeah, everyone is seems like everyone's been really busy. There's been a lot going. I have barely been on YouTube, I think probably for about 4 or 5 days. It's just, yeah, during this time, ever since I had this done, it's been like Motrin, Tylenol, and Benadryl. Benadryl puts me out. I go sleepy pie and I don't hurt when I'm sleeping, which is nice. And also, but anyhow, I started looking at people today. There's a lot of new cases. There's a case actually out of Washington that I was looking at, a young woman who went missing out of SeaTac, the airport at Seattle. That really, really kind of worries me because she kind of disappeared out of nowhere right now. And then I came across Maria, and that's when I was like, okay, got it. This one, Maria's been missing since the 29th, gang. Okay, today's the 3rd. This is a 12-year-old. No Amber Alerts, nothing like that, for the normal reasons we get. But yes, I did survive Hell Week. We are still surviving. I should be done with the show at this point. However, my stage manager has come down with COVID. So I am stage manager right now until he stops testing positive and can come back to work. I'm stage manager, but it's fine. I love this cast. It's an awesome show, really awesome show. Been a bit busy. Yeah, it has been busy. It has been crazy busy for so many people. Okay, when I came back, I was texting people. So how you doing? How you doing? And everyone's like, "Oh, I've been busy. I've been busy." And I'm like, "Oh, great. I wasn't the only one. Yay." So, let me bring this up first so we can at least show Maria here, and then we're going to go into her story. Like I said, not much here. Not much on Maria, guys. However, what I am seeing is the same thing that worries me every single time. We got a 12-year-old. Okay, nothing was done much on it. Okay, yes, getting out a notification about a 12-year-old going missing and all that. However, because there was no evidence that she had been abducted and, the R word, runaway, okay, things like that, people were not able to take it to the level of an Amber Alert. And here we are a few days later. The more and more we learn, the more and more concerned I get because I start seeing we have a young preteen who has been missing for a week now. Okay, I think a week now. Let me see. Well, 5 days now. 5 days. Let's see, 29th. It'll be a week on Wednesday. And yet I'm noticing a connection where she has done seems to be in contact with a lot. She's got an older quote unquote boyfriend, so she's got relationships with people who are much older than her, which can put you at a much higher risk for other issues. And that's what I'm worried when you have a young girl who's gone missing like this. Okay, it's not just a runaway issue at this point. Okay, she's in danger. She's in danger of trafficking. She's in danger, okay, of so many different things at this point. Lioness, how you doing, my dear? Hello, hello, hello. So I'm going to share her poster and then we're going to get into an article. Okay, one of the only videos I could actually find on this. I have also linked a kind of not GoFundMe, I forget what the site's called, Spot Fund, which is putting together money to help with a reward. I'll be honest, what I'm seeing in this case, gang, is not a lot of information, very little information. It looks like police are not getting a lot of information. In fact, from everything that they shared out, they got a grand total of three clues. That's it, 3 tips. That was all that they got. And they need more tips coming in at this point for them to work on. And maybe a reward would help with that. So if you are in a place where you can donate towards that, please, I have pinned it up above. So please do that. So this is Maria, though. Maria is a sweet, okay, 12-year-old, okay, out of Gainesville, Georgia. And she went missing last Wednesday. Now, as I mentioned, there was very little no information going on out there. We'll kind of go through it, but they did not do an Amber Alert because it did not qualify for an Amber Alert, which I understand. We have rules for that, but we need to still get the information out. Just because someone is not an Amber Alert does not mean that they are not in danger. And in this case, I think she's in serious danger right now. Okay. Hey, Gerald, how you doing, Gerald? Aloha, aloha, my dear. Um, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, 12-year-old, 5'3", between 100 and 110 pounds, long black hair. It looks like she's got some wave to it. Okay, a little bit of a curl to her hair. She's got a cute little smile smirk going on there in that picture. And they think, while we don't have a full description of what she was wearing when she was last seen, they think she was most likely wearing a bright blue shirt like the one she's wearing in this picture. So you guys know how I get happy whenever I hear, okay, at least we have a picture of what she would have been wearing at that time. So now at this point, whether she'd be wearing the same shirt, who knows? And but looking for the hair, looking now again, as KK would be telling all you guys if she was in here, okay, hair can be cut, hair can be dyed, okay, all sorts of things. And my big concern in this case is we've got a 12-year-old, whether or not she went under her own power and left under her own power or not, she definitely, it looks like, has friendships with people who are much older than her, okay, which shows a level of trust. Okay, and that trust can turn into, and I'm not saying it in this one specific case, okay, with the person that I'm talking about, but there could be other people, okay, just because she's talking with one person who's 21, maybe she's talking with other people too. Okay, so I'm hoping the police are now looking at things such as phones, computers, things like that, because the possibility of grooming in a case like this, a possibility, one of the big concerns a lot of people have is trafficking in this case. And so we need to get at the fact that locally in Gainesville, they have been pushing this local. This has been being pushed from a local level, gang. Okay, I don't know how many of you in here are from Georgia area, but it's really being pushed from a local level, and it's being made to be more in front of everyone's eyes. Okay, it's otherwise there was one notification about it when she first went missing, and then there was nothing after that. And so if anyone has any information, we've got the phone numbers there. Of course, you guys know what I say. Just call 911. Plain and simple. Just call 911. So let me pull this up and we're going to watch. I'm sorry for the audio on this, guys. I went to the channel to see if I could actually pull it up off of their YouTube channel. They don't have this. I went to their website and they don't have it there. But someone actually recorded the actual news story. okay, from their living room. So we got a little bit of a weird sound effect to it, but it's still pretty easy to hear. And this is actually from today. And also, let's see what we got here. Let me go back. Yeah, okay. Let me actually get through that developing storyline there. We all know how that does.
Running the
Okay.
search for a missing 12-year-old girl in Hall County. Channel 2's Matt Johnson is live off Atlanta Highway near Gainesville. And Matt, it's been 5 days since anyone has seen her.
Yeah, family and friends and even people who have never met her in the community are coming together, leaving signs just like these where Maria was last seen off Atlanta Highway. There is a growing concern for her, and many who were out here yesterday say they're not going to stop until she's found safely.
Gonna stop real quick. Hey, Robbie, how you doing? Yep, I'm live. Hello, my dear Robbie, I love you. So as you're seeing there, okay, this is a fairly small area outside of Gainesville. She went missing outside of her home, which was on West Side Drive off of the Parkway or Highway area. One of the things, and I'm not sure, but from what I was looking at, she has a Facebook page of her own. And she, I don't know when she moved to the US, but that's also something I always get concerned about, because when you've got especially children who are coming from another country to here, there's a different level of comfort and trust. Okay. We kind of said that with Lena. If you guys remember Lena from San Antonio, okay, even though she was much younger than this. Okay, when children are coming from another culture, the way they trust other people around them is different, and many times can put them in more danger here. And so, but you can see immediately how the town has come together, and they're putting up signs. From what I understand, there's signs all over, posters all over. I'm now pushing it at this level because of the fact that if we are 5 days into this, gang, she may not be anywhere locally. She could be somewhere locally, but she could also have worked her way out, especially if she has connected in with someone, or if there is any type of criminal activity connected to this. Patriotism, how you doing, my dear? Hey. I know it's taking a little longer for notifications to get out, and I have not been live for a week, so it's taking a little longer. Thank you guys who are all coming in. I really appreciate y'all, big time. Okay, let's go back to this.
She's been gone since Wednesday, and it's just been too many days.
Concern is growing for 12-year-old Maria Gomez-Perez 5 days after her disappearance in Hall County.
I feel like there's more that we can do about it.
Edward Andrade is the president of Ambition's Car Club in Hall County and says as a parent, he couldn't stand by and do nothing. He was part of a group of dozens of family, friends, teachers, and community members Sunday who made signs and knocked on doors near Atlanta Highway.
Maybe about 30 of us. We walked the streets, we had flyers, we passed out flyers.
The Hall County Sheriff's Office hasn't released many details about what happened last Wednesday. Investigators say she was last seen at her home that day near Atlanta Highway and West Side Drive. Deputies say there are no signs of foul play, but the community still has concerns for the young girl.
We're just worried that, maybe she's out of state possibly now. There's no telling.
With few details and plenty of determination, Andrade says his biggest focus is finding her safe.
But we're just trying to do our part as a club, as a community. We can't give up.
I checked with Hall County deputies today. They say their investigators continue to follow up on leads. I'm putting together what other areas supporters have included in their search for Channel 2 Action News at 5. Live in Hall County, Matt Johnson, Channel 2 Action News.
One person's facing charges.
Okay. So wanted to share that. That actually came today. So we're finally starting to get a little bit of attention with all of this, which is great. I mean, that we're finally getting to the point where there is, because when this started, literally very few people knew. The only reason why it spread, honestly, was because of family and friends. Patriotism. This is actually out of Gainesville, Georgia. So this is out of Georgia right now. And sorry, hopefully you don't hear this little muttlet over here growling like crazy. And so So let me pull this back up so we can keep her information up on the screen. And I'm going to take, since the picture is the same, I'm going to take that down. So let me go through this real quickly. So let me put the puppy down. So all of this started last Wednesday. And like I said, there's very little information. In fact, I'm not even sure about the situation surrounding when she disappeared, other than she was last seen around her house, okay, at 10 a.m. And so, oh, really, Paige? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm okay. You look at this community, it looks like a small, Gainesville's fairly large, but this area, the community itself looks pretty small, pretty tight knit from what I'm seeing there. You've got a big crowd walking around town, posting posters, making sure they're yelling her name, they're doing all this. A 12-year-old at some point when they're hearing stuff like that, hopefully they will respond. Okay, and they will recognize that people are concerned. Okay, there are some really kind of concerning things. There was a documentary, from my understanding, done about a church located fairly near this area that used to be involved in trafficking, for example. There's some very, very concerning things. And this is the reason why I'm covering Maria today, is the things that I'm reading on the side, these side things. Some of the things that I will go in depth in, and some of the things I'm just like, okay, I'll surface touch on them, but I don't want to go too in depth because I haven't gotten all the facts on it yet. But every one of those is concerning to me. It's not, sometimes, okay, someone has run off with someone and you're like, okay, they're not in the best of places, but at least they're in a fairly safe, if that makes sense. This is a case where I don't even feel that at this point. Awesome patriotism. I can't wait to see it. Let me know. Yeah, hit me up. I have not been around Discord or anything for the last week, actually, because of not feeling good. And also, but I'm back. So she went missing around 10 a.m. on Wednesday, the 29th. At the time, I'm not sure who reported her missing, how she was found out that she was missing, or anything like that. But police were notified and police had to make a decision at that point. And that is Amber Alert or not. And Darcy, thank you. This is the perfect time for that. You find that very few people share missing children's flyers online once it hits preteen age. Yes, and that's it. It's sad people don't take the preteens and teens, and that's the problem I've got right now. If Maria was a 6-year-old, everyone jumps on it immediately. Okay, but the moment you're talking about preteen, teenager, hell, 20, 30, 40, 50-year-olds, okay, people get into this thing that you have a right to be missing. Well, first of all, she's 12. She doesn't have a right to be missing. Okay, she's not at the age where she can make that decision to go missing. Okay, she does not have the skills to survive at that level without other people helping her. We've got to take this seriously at this point. Okay, unfortunately, the problem we run into is police are limited. First of all, they've got so much on their plates and everything, they have to start trying to figure out how to divide it up among, okay, different cases and all. And then they start seeing certain cases and it's like, oh, well, in this case, okay, there are 3 things that have to happen for a Levi's call. Now, a Levi's call in Gainesville, Georgia is the same as an Amber Alert in other locations. It's like here in Hawaii, we have the Miley Alert, which is always, I'll be honest, kind of confusing. All of our communities have different names. What's sad is each of these freaking names is tied to a missing child who most likely lost their life. Okay, that part just that's too much to even think of at times. That we have all these different names and they're all tied to something that if we had just gotten the word out earlier, okay, or in a different way. But basically, for Levi's call, you had three things that had to be checked off. Okay. The first was there had to be reasonable belief that an abduction occurred. This is where I think they did not get their check mark. I think in this case, whether we don't know what it is, but I suspect from what I'm reading and hearing and stuff like that, that they she made the decision to run away, okay, or whatever. Now again, runaway is a term and it says what they did. They run away, but it doesn't mean they're any safer than someone who is abducted. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Someone who has run away has to live their life. Okay. And a young person, whatever it is, but especially a younger person having to live their life as a runaway, they are open to all sorts of criminal activity. They are open to, okay, drugs. They are open to being forced into doing things they're not supposed to or want to do. I'm talking trafficking at that level. Okay, so many different things that they get themselves into, and the problem is once they get into that, they don't have a way out. So at that point, yeah, you know what? It isn't voluntary anymore. The problem is there's no way of noticing when that happens. And Linus, missing children people need their own department. Honestly, yes. And in many cases, there's a smaller group that does look at that. The problem is we don't, especially in this age of, okay, we're cutting back on police activities and stuff like that. Okay, our police that affects their ability to do their job. I'm always going to be pro police because I do know there are so many who truly care about what's going on. But I also do recognize, to be honest, not everyone gets treated equally when it comes to missing people. Okay. Patriotism. Gainesville, Georgia is a big town, but yes. And that's one of my big concerns is how close it is to highways and how quickly things can happen. And like I said, Maria, one of the discussions out there going on is that she had a quote unquote boyfriend who turns out to be around 21 years old. Now, whether that was a real boyfriend or not, I don't know, but I don't care. Okay. That shows that she has a trust with Ola, and whether it's that person or someone else, is she connecting in with other people and thinking they're trustworthy and she's being groomed? Okay. Because, as patriotism said, a lot of big trucks coming through. Okay. A lot of movement happening in and out of that area. Darcy, runaways can be in danger. Yep, runaways are vulnerable and they are open targets and bad people. And that's exactly it. They know. If you walk up to a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old or a 17 or 18-year-old, a 30-year-old, okay, and they're out on the streets, you are more vulnerable. You have to find ways. How are you going to get your next meal? Okay, how are you going to ensure you're safe? You have to connect with other people to make sure that you're safe. And not all the people you're connecting with to ensure your own safety actually care about your safety. And that's what scares me. And sorry, oh, my dogs, I swear. I bet you my brother just walked into the house. My brother's coming over to eat dinner tonight. We're going to watch a movie and all that. Hey guys, shh, eat the treats. Thank you. The next question that came under the Levi's call, Amber Alert for them there is belief that the person is in imminent danger or danger of serious bodily injury or death. Okay, I don't know what the police are saying. I would say, yeah. If she's out there on the streets, she is definitely in imminent danger. Okay, she's 12 years old. Of course she is. And also, to me, that would have been a yes. The last thing is enough descriptive information about the victim and abductor. Hey, Chris, how you doing, my dear? We're talking about a missing 12-year-old today from Gainesville, Georgia. And welcome, welcome. Um, that last one, descriptive information about victim and abductor. I noticed the wording says and, not and or, which I don't know if that is saying you have to have information on both people or not. Because if it is saying it has to be both people, that's a problem. Because there's how many times in missing cases do we know someone has gone missing, but we have no information whatsoever on the abductor, but we know they were taken. And so that could be an issue. We have tons of information on Maria. We know what she looks like. We've got pictures. We know what she may have been wearing. And so I'm thinking the reason why they couldn't do it, the Levi's call, was because of reasonable belief an abduction occurred. However, I think what happens usually in those cases, and what Darcy's saying, the majority of people need to get out of the mindset that runaways run different. Yes. Yes, exactly. It's not true in a lot of cases. And I think that's the thing, that it's still kind of like the back in time, there was the rule that if someone went missing, an adult went missing, you could not report them missing for how many hours? You guys all remember that law. They've pretty much gotten rid of that now, in the majority of places, because they've realized by the time you wait for those hours to disappear, that person may likely no longer be with us. And Chris, you know what? I don't know. I don't know if the Charlie Project has gotten on this one yet. I did not see much when I was doing just the normal Google searches. Web Sleuths is where I got the information to begin with. Okay, Web Sleuths is where I started it. Then there is a Facebook group I will share with you guys. The Facebook group is put together by Deja Vu Crime Crew. And they are right now the only group I know of with a missing / advocacy awareness site for her. So please head over there if you're interested in further. Of course, you know me. I'm going to be following up on this one for sure too. But yeah, what Darcy was saying is they're not. By the time someone is reported missing, the hours are clicking by. So when we say runaway, because the thought is, oh, they just went to their friend's house or something like that. Yeah, there are some that just go to their friend's house. Cases do happen. And usually in those cases, we hear back from the person within a few days. Okay, when we don't hear from them in a few days is when all of a sudden it starts ramping up and we start getting more and more information out there. But the problem is, by the time we're getting that information, many times it's too late at that point. Okay, and I don't care if it's too late on no longer with us level or too late, because I hate to say this, guys, even when a person is still with us, many times the trauma they've gone through is lifelong. Whatever trauma they may have gone through during those couple days, it's not going to leave just because they've been returned home. So runaways are in danger from day one, plain and simple. And so what happened in this case and any other case in Georgia is GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation, worked with the Hall County Sheriff's Office to see, can we call a Levi's call? We could not do a Levi's call. So they go to their next step, which is connecting with the media and putting out a media advisory, which is what they did. They put out a media advisory right away to let everyone know through local media, newspapers, okay, TV stations, all of that, social media also. especially the Hall County Sheriff's Office went through social media, letting everyone know in the Metro and North Georgia broadcast partnership about Maria being missing. So that went out pretty much right away. The problem is, it worked to some degree. And this is why advisories are important. This is why we speak up here. Okay, this is why groups like Deja Vu are out there to get the word out, because they got 3 tips out of those those media advisories. Now I don't know if they came through where was it, through the social media side, was it through the TV side, or whatever. Chris, you didn't see anything about it. See, and that's the problem. I didn't see anything till I literally woke up this morning and went on Web Sleuth and found it on Web Sleuth. And and I'll be honest, okay, yes, it worked. They got some tips, but you don't, Chris. Got it, got it. They got 3 tips. 3 tips is better than no tips. I'll be honest, yes. I'll always take a tip over no tip any day, but 3 is not a lot. 3 is not a lot for a child who's missing. And that's why the follow-up, and that's the difference between these media advisories and the issue of an Amber Alert, Levi Alert, Miley Alert, whatever you call it. Those alerts are going to get attention over time. It's not like, okay, we put out, and you guys have all seen, okay, put a 1 in chat if you've ever seen the newspaper articles that come from these alerts. They're usually something like 3 sentences long. Okay, so and so went missing from their house on this day. They were wearing this amount. This is what they wear. If you see anything, please call this number. That's literally all it is. Darcy, you're finding out from here. See, and that's the thing. None of us knew. Right now, usually I ask in the chat at the beginning, did you know about this case? I guarantee you, I don't think any of us knew about the case. Let me know in chat. If you knew about the case, let me know. No. And my gut is saying none of us knew about this case. And the longer she stays missing, the more important it is that people know about it. Because if she's still in Gainesville, guys, Gainesville is how many? Okay, let me real quickly. Sorry, I don't want to mess up my diamond painting here. I'm going to do a real quick research. Gainesville, Georgia census. Let's see. What is our census for Gainesville? Okay. 42.8 thousand people in Gainesville, Georgia in 2022. That's a hell of a lot of people. And out of that, they got 3 tips. That's why it needs to be out more. People need to be hitting up the Nextdoor apps, letting people know in Nextdoor. And see, twist of all, welcome, twist. And second of all, I'll be honest, very seldom do I just know about these cases. All of a sudden, someone will send me something about a case. I'm like, how did I miss this? Because there are so many people missing. And as overwhelmed as we tend to get about it, I'm sure the police, it's 10 times worse. They need our help. And that's why, okay, for example, I say, I try to keep us focused on facts, and we can have discussion and speculation to some degree, but it's important for us to be here, whether it's Instagram, X, TikTok, Facebook, here, wherever, because guess what? People are going to see Maria's face now. They may not have known it, but it may pop up now. And that's why so many people who do coverage. Okay, I mean, how many, Chris, you know the list of all these amazing people who do try to cover missing people. Arctic puts out a list of how many videos every single day. So, You're from Dayton, Ohio. Never heard of this case. It's been almost, amen, right there. And that's, she could be anywhere. Honestly, guys, she could be in, I'm in Hawaii. Feasibly, she could be in Hawaii at this point. Okay, realistically, probably not, but feasibly, yes. I could literally be walking outside in Waikiki and come across her. That's possible. Okay, newspapers, news shows, we've got a small handful that cover, but very few. And that is true. Very few do. I can usually find, I do have to say, I know like Hawaii News Now does some pretty, in fact, it's funny. Sometimes I'll cover something here and I kind of joke, I'm like, are they watching what I'm doing? No, no, they're not. And but all of a sudden they'll cover someone that I just covered and knew nothing about, and they'll cover it, and I'm like, what? And but they will though if they know that's what we expect from them. If they get news channels, whether it's TV, print, whatever, are going to cover what they know the neighborhood wants. So if your neighborhood is very focused on the missing and speaking for the missing, they will make sure to cover things. Okay, I saw that difference just here in Hawaii when all of a sudden we started focusing on people with dementia who wandered away. All of a sudden that increased, the number of reports increased. And also, it's really important that we tell them what we need. Join your different Facebook groups for your location. There you go, Chris. I was hoping you'd write me out. Southern Gal True Crime. Yeah, she's been doing a great job lately. There's so many others, guys. Okay, you guys know, okay, Sleuth. I love Sleuth to death. Okay, I mean, there's so many, and we are spread across the whole country. And Gerald is saying every case are treated differently for sure. If a rich, yes. And I'll be honest, I hate that I have to agree to that, but I have to agree with that. If you've got the money, if you've got a certain look, your chances go up. Now, I will say it's not a guarantee. The other person I was thinking of covering today, okay, she is a 21-year-old who went missing out of Seattle Tacoma Airport. And she's that 21-year-old blonde hair, blue eye type thing and all. Honestly, there's even less information on her case than on Maria's, if that's possible. And so, but no, you've got Gerald, you're right, though. It is truly real what you're saying. There is a division between who gets covered and who does not get covered. And to me, a missing is a missing is a missing. It doesn't matter whether they're a runaway. It doesn't matter socioeconomic level. It doesn't matter any of those things. Lioness, I am from Western Pennsylvania. Never hear of any. Really, Lioness. So see, that's also the difference on region, because I can honestly say in Hawaii, I do. In fact, this morning I heard we have a 17-year-old who went missing off of Makapu'u Lookout. Now, why I'm not covering him, first of all, we don't have a full name or description. Please pray for him and his family. I don't know if he's from Hawaii or a tourist or whatever, but the area he went missing from is actually a hike up to a lighthouse. And my gut feeling is a 17-year-old probably was climbing up the side of the mountain, the cliff area, because we do lose people who do that or try to go down and swim in the areas and disappear. I'm really scared for him on that level. So please keep his family in your prayers. But I can say, Lioness, for Hawaii, they've been really good. There's also a difference though from island to island. The Big Island is much more focused on the missing than, say, Kauai. And just really interesting about that. And so Twist is saying, never know, being informed helps the chances. Yeah, and that's the thing. We don't know if we're going to see this person or not. But we all know the stories about a person who saw someone and it's like, where have I seen that person before? And it clicks for them. And maybe it wasn't even from their location, but the person's there. I forget what his name was, but a couple years ago, 2 years ago, there was this little boy who went missing in Florida, I think it was. God, some of you guys might remember this case. And we were all covering him, letting people know about him and all. And all of a sudden, we heard an update. He had been found. He was alive. Okay. He was okay. He was in Canada. And someone saw him there and is like, I remember him from Facebook. I remember that child. And they reported him and he was able to come home. So you never know. You never know what you're going to see. Internet, I hear of missing, but never local news. Interesting, Lioness. And that could be different. Could be maybe you don't have as many from, but I can guarantee you how you check that. And this I have done for Honolulu. Go to your local PD's website. Most of our PDs have a section for missing people. Go check that site. That's when I find out how many missing people. Now, the majority of them are going to fall into the same category as Maria. They're missing and presumed runaway. I find it funny how many of those people years and years later are still missing. You don't run away and disappear for decades, in my eyes. Okay, you could in theory, but at some point, I think most people are going to open up and say something. They're going to have to get, okay, federal documentation of identity or stuff. Okay, and something's going to happen. That's happened in some cases where people did run away and years later they went to go find something out. And they're like, you know what, this is following me everywhere and I need to let people know I'm safe. And Darcy, you shared on Facebook and hashtag game. Thank you so much. And that's it, Maria. Maria's face needs it. I did do a poster and I will be sharing Maria's poster out with you guys also. For those of you, actually, for those of you who are new and want to follow, there is a Facebook group you guys can join. And I do try to update posters there. I have not shared her poster on that yet, but let me just share that real quickly for anyone. Okay. I'm trying to get that, or we also have our Discord also. So, but there's the Facebook group. And because that's a lot of it. It's just sharing. It doesn't matter whose poster you share, as long as you share a poster. That's all. Because you might catch that one person. You may never know it. You may never know that you connected that one person with that one other person. What else? What's sad is that it's almost worse. A case gets a lot of attention. Yeah. And then the misinformed. Yes, twist. And that's one thing that pisses me off. And I try to hold rules for myself because we know it's happening right now. We have certain cases. It should be about the person who's missing. It should be about and it totally becomes a different nightmare. And it's not, no, we forget. Okay, at some point almost becomes where we forget there's someone actually missing involved in this case. And that's just so frustrating when you see that happen. And yeah, Lioness, Chris actually has a lot of good connections into Facebook groups and stuff, especially if you're interested in cases. He really does. Oh, thank you, Twist. Thank you so much. And it's amazing. This, I'll be honest, Twist and anyone else here, I started this channel 2.5 years ago. It grows slow because I won't do the drama. It's my rule for myself. And so it does grow small. Slow. And but it started off because I saw, okay, Gabby's case. And Gabby's case was one of those. I was so happy people were covering her. So happy people were covering her. The problem was they were only covering her. Day in, day out, only covering her. And it was like, come on. There's so many others who need coverage. Like some of you guys said here, some people from other, okay, cultural backgrounds, things like that. And that's literally why this channel started. Actually, he was in here earlier. Save Robbie. My channel was mental health before that. He made a comment one day about the indigenous, and how no one really speaks up for them. And I was like, you're right. And that's literally how this happened. And yeah, Chris can send you some great channels to follow. But as I mentioned, my big concern right now in her case, so they have 3 tips. Unfortunately, those 3 tips, and sorry I'm all over the place tonight. Those 3 tips have all been looked into. And unfortunately, everyone ended up with negative results. Now, thank you to law enforcement for actually following through on those, because one of those could have been the tip that led to Maria. But unfortunately, now they have no tips to work off of. So all this comes down to them. Hopefully, okay, it just happened. It should have happened before in my eyes, but they're checking webcams now. If you live in this area, check your webcams. I don't know if they've asked this, but check your webcams. If you happen to come across this video and you are from this area where she went missing, how many times has someone been found because all of a sudden they find someone on webcam? And hey there, Astro, how you doing, my dear? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so looking for video, because she's got to be there. I can't believe this young 12-year-old literally walked out of her house and teleported somewhere else. That don't happen. I'm sorry, but it does not happen. And so somewhere she had to walk from here to there. And when she walks from here to there, a video camera catches her. And then she walks from there to there, and a traffic camera catches her. There should be a way to go. Oh boy, I just noticed my AC is dripping. I'll have to fix that as soon as I'm done with this. And living in Hawaii, yes, I love it. Also, I was like, what's that sound I'm hearing right now? So actually, let me do one thing real quick. Sorry guys, I'm gonna be right with you. Oh, there you go. And okay, that'll collect that until I get done. Did she have a step? I don't, Astro. I honestly don't know anything about the family in this case and how things come. I do know the neighborhood has come together looking for her. My biggest concerns are on 2 levels. She may or may not be fairly new. I don't know when she moved to the US, but my gut is saying she moved here. So she may have different thoughts on trust and who to trust. Okay, based off of that, cultural differences. Number 2, there are rumors that she had a boyfriend, friend, whatever that was in his 21. What worries me about that is, and I'm not saying that person is guilty whatsoever, but it shows a comfort level with people who may be older than her. And if she's out there right now and trying to find safety, she may find herself going towards people who may not necessarily have the most positive thought process behind keeping her safe. And that's why we need to find her. And the sooner we can, the better. She was last seen outside of her family's house. So yes, with family. Police have not called an Amber Alert or in their area, Levi's call on her. They consider her to have left under her own accord. But she's 12 years old. And this happened 5 days ago. At some point, we got to keep an eye out for her, because this is also an area that has a lot of traffic going through the town, going around the town. A lot of concerns. Locally, there's a lot of concern about things such as trafficking and stuff like that. So that's why we need to get her word out there. So, Lioness, if you want to get me your stuff, I can kind of get it to Chris for sure. I agree. Don't share where you don't feel totally comfortable and all. So those are my concerns right now. Grooming. Okay, potential of trafficking going on in this case. So we need to share her face and share it out as far as possible. The more people that see her, the more posters that are posted up, the more that those 3 tips that did not amount to anything become 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tips. And sooner or later, the police get the tip that they need. And so that's literally all we have on Maria. And my big concern comes down to, yeah, she may be quote unquote run away, but that don't matter. We need to get the word out about her. She's 12 years old. 12-year-old needs help surviving day to day. Okay. Yes, I know there are some 12-year-olds who are wonderfully independent and all that, but she's in a dangerous world right now. Sorry, my pup wants my attention. You want to say hi to everyone, or are you just being a troublemaker? And so please help me if you guys can in sharing out Maria's poster. There are other posters out there too. Please feel free if you've got money that you can help with donating towards a reward. Because I'll be honest, if she's out on the streets, reward money helps. Because there are people looking for money. Money speaks, and they may know something from being on the street. So I have that pinned. You can join the Help Find Maria Gomez-Perez Facebook group on YouTube, on Facebook. And I will definitely be updating all of you guys with more information as it comes together. Other than that, we'll see about Wednesday whether or not Sleuth and I are both able to connect together. We've both been really busy lately. And but hopefully we will see how things work out. So I will talk to y'all later. I'm going to go deal with this air conditioner before I have a swimming pool in my house. So I'll talk to y'all later. Aloha. Goodbye. Mahalo, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.